we are from talking about the different stages of respiration. Now we want to begin with the first stage of respiration, and that first stage of respiration is none other than, as you already know, is none other than glycolysis. Glycolysis. I am still your teacher Osbert Nwarinda. Yeah, so what is glycolysis? Glycolysis is a stage, and we are saying it's the first stage of respiration, of cell respiration that occurs within a cell of an organism. But exactly what is it? Apart from us knowing that it's the first stage. Now, you see, people say that biology is hard. And when you ask them why do they say that biology is hard, they say it's because it has complicated words. But those words are not hard. You just need to get those words and then you break them down. When you get those words and split them up, you're going to find out actually they are very easy. For example, if you talk about like photosynthesis, you see you have photo, you have senses, you have, when you can get those things combined to get them together, you find yourself defining photosynthesis very easily. So these words are not hard, just that some people have just a bias about them. Now, our word is glycolysis. What's glycolysis? I want us to break down this glycolysis together. Now, glycolysis is made up of 3 words. Now, you identify for me those words. Of course, we have the 3 words we have. One is what? Is what? Glyco. Glyco. Okay. I'm calling it glyco. Okay. Now, if we have glyco, the other one is what? Which other word is what? You are saying lysis. I've said we have 3 words. Now, if you say the next word is lysis, then I'll ask you the third word is what? You will tell me a full stop? No. Yeah, okay, but anyway, if you have said lysis, well and good, you are not bad. Actually, you are on the right track. So we are saying we have glyco. But the next word we have is after I move this glyco is coming. Glyco is stopping there. What glyco is stopping here. So the other word is lysis. Now the other one I think I'm going to pick is lyse. Is lyse. And then the other one that I'm going to have is what? The other word is now what? Of course, now you are telling me is. No. Our next word is not is. The other one is going to be cis. It's going to be cis. Those are the 3 words we are going to have now. When you have the 3 words, then the definition is complete. What do we mean? Glyco, whenever you talk about glyco, glyco, glycine, glycogen, what? That gly has something to do with carbohydrates. So this word, you can associate it with carbohydrate. This gly has something to do with carbohydrate. So that means in glycolysis we are dealing with a carbohydrate. Now, what are we doing to this carbohydrate? What we are doing to this carbohydrate is the next term. And this carbohydrate, what we are doing to it is we are lysing it. Lysing it means what? This lysing is something to do with splitting. We are splitting it. We are breaking it down. Remember we said respiration is a breakdown of food. So we are having the food carbohydrate. We are splitting it. We are breaking it down. We are breaking it down. Break it down. We are breaking it down. And then, now, what is cis? Cis in biology means what? Cis in biology means what? Okay, yeah, I don't know what you are saying, but cis in biology is something to do with the process of, very many words in biology which have cis. For example, like which one? You don't say coccidiosis. Coccidiosis is a disease. That one is a different case. I'm talking about other like terms terms processes which have cis, like photosynthesis. Yes, photosynthesis. Now that cis is a process by which what else? What? You're saying glycolysis. Glycolysis. What else? Which other term has the cis in it? Lysis. Okay. Yeah, so we are saying cis means what? Means the process of. So it means these three words now, you can combine them and get what we mean by glycolysis. So in glycolysis, what are we going to do? In glycolysis, it means we have carbohydrate. Now this carbohydrate in this case, in this context, we are going to use glucose. We are going to use glucose. We are going to use glucose. So in this case, we are going to have that the glycolysis is a process. We are starting from here. Is a process. Can say process by which? The process of breaking down. Process by which? You can say a process of breaking down, or a process by which something is broken down. So it's the process by which what? By which glucose is what? Is broken down. Is broken down. So those are the three terms. A process, glucose, carbohydrate being broken down. The question is, it is being broken down into what? It is broken down into something. It is broken down into something. Of course, into something which is smaller, something which is a smaller and simpler molecule, as we already talked about things to do with catabolism. Remember, respiration, we said respiration is a catabolic process. Likewise, this glycolysis is a catabolic reaction, is a catabolic process. So, I want to ask, from your basic knowledge, I would like to ask, how many carbon atoms is glucose having? Glucose is having what? What is the formula of glucose? C6H12 or C6H12 or 6. Okay, so it means in this case glucose has how many carbon atoms? It has 6 carbon atoms. Now, when you have 6 carbon atoms, so since this glucose, we are saying it is having 6 carbons. So we are saying if 6 carbons are broken down, whatever we are supposed to be forming, we are supposed to be forming something which is equivalent. For example, if assume if glucose was to be broken, it is having 6 carbon. If it was to be broken down into like 3 molecules, it means each of those molecules will be having 2 carbons, 2 carbons, 2 carbons, isn't it? But in this case, we are saying glucose is not broken down into 3. It is broken down into 2. So if it is now broken down into 2, remember glucose is having 6. So if it's broken down into 2, it means each of those 2 molecules that it will form will be having how many carbons? How many? Okay, yeah, it will be having 2. Thank you very much. So it means, no. It will be having 2, no. It means each of those, why are you lying to me? It means each of those, the glucose which is having 6 carbon will be broken down into 2 molecules. But each of those 2 molecules will be having 3 carbons. Yeah, somebody had given me something which was misleading. Yeah, so we are saying, therefore, glycolysis is a process by which glucose is broken down into 2 molecules. Into 2 molecules of 3 carbons. Of a 3 carbon compound. And that 3 carbon compound is called what? That 3 carbon compound, or that those carbons which are those molecules which are having 3 carbons, in this case is called what? Is called pyruvate. Very good. It's called pyruvate. So we are saying, in this case, we are going to have our glucose. And this glucose is going to be split. It's going to be split into pyruvate. Going to be turned into pyruvate, which is having 3 carbons. It's also going to turn into pyruvate, which is going to be having 3 carbons. Yeah, so those are the 2 molecules that we are talking about. So what occurs, happens on this stage, what happens between glucose and this is what we are calling glycolysis. So we are saying in glycolysis, here we have splitting. We have glucose undergoes glycolysis, undergoes splitting to form 2 molecules. form two molecules of pyruvate. But each of these pyruvate has three carbons, Remember, glucose is having 6 carbons. Am I understood? Yes. We are saying this, as we already saw, this process here occurs. It occurs where? It occurs in the cytoplasm of the cell. And therefore, because it occurs in the cytoplasm, it means its occurrence does not need, there is no need for oxygen. This process does not require oxygen. That means a long time ago, like 2.5 billion years ago, when there was no oxygen on this world, it means those organisms, those cells, they're the ones we call the prokaryotic cells, which used to stay in those days. For them, they were able to still carry out respiration. They were able to also have energy for the different processes in their bodies. But how they were able to produce that energy? They were able to produce that energy only by utilizing what we call glycolysis. Because in the glycolysis we shall have energy being produced. By the way, when this happens, we shall have energy produced. In the process, as this one is happening, during this process, the process by which glucose is broken down into this pyruvate, this one here is coupled. This process is coupled with production of energy. Yeah, as this glucose is being broken down into pyruvate, as we are going to see, energy is produced. So it means those organisms used to exist very many years ago when we didn't have oxygen on this world. For them, they were able to produce energy for their different processes, for their different activities, by only relying on glycolysis, because we are saying it requires only cytoplasm and there's no need for oxygen. Is that one clear? Now, we now need to go into the details of exactly what occurs in glycolysis. Let me meet you in the next episode. Thank you very much. May God bless you.